So today I want to answer or bring more clarity around a question that I see very often in the coaching space. And more than a question, it has become an issue and a pathology and a source of judgment from the different sides. And I will start with this. At one point in our life, we realize that something is not quite right. We feel pain, we feel disconnected, maybe a lot of anxiety or depression. Perhaps we're in a bad relationship, or our finances are not what we would like them to be. And we wonder, how, like, is there more to life? Is there a better way of feeling, of being? Why does life have to be so hard? Why are relationships this difficult? Perhaps, and we start our process of self-inquiry. Very often, right after a tragedy or a crisis, or a place where there was so much chaos that we touched rock bottom and we decided no more. There was one day where you felt enough pain or inspiration, but it's usually desperation, to decide that you wanted a different life, to make a different choice. And depending on where you were at, depending on what was accessible to you at the time, and also depending on your natural tendencies, you chose one of two paths. There's the path that I will call it the masculine way, and there's the feminine way. And there's no right or wrong, there's not one that is better than the other. In fact, both are extremely necessary and must be incorporated if we want fast, complete healing. And if we want to feel whole, we have to use these two. Let me explain. So the masculine path is that energy that tells you gotta push through. Imagine you're a soldier in a battlefield and you just got a lot of wounds. Somebody cut you with their sword. Maybe you got an arrow to you. For sure, it's painful, it sucks. Maybe your family will not see you another day. But you know that in that moment, it is not the time to feel sorry for yourself or feel the pain. That is the moment to block those emotions and just focus on, I gotta win this war, or I gotta make it back to my town. And this can fuel you with that warrior energy of pushing through, of like masculine direction, penetration, and focus. On the other hand, we have the feminine way, which is about emotions, about the heart, about healing, sitting, listening to. So while the masculine pushes through and leads to a point, the feminine sits with. She listens. She opens her heart. She understands. She has no agenda other than to be present to what's happening, to what is there, especially every emotion, every sensation. She is the loving mother willing to embrace her child with no other agenda than love. The father's agenda tends to be wisdom, less unattached to what happened. There's more of a strength. There's no time to listen to those emotions. You gotta focus on the plan, push through. And we are sold these two options when it comes to healing and progress. You will find that there's some people who they go the first way and they think, doesn't matter what has happened today, doesn't matter what happened in the past. I am my present, and my future choices define who I am and who I choose to be. And doesn't matter what I went through, I will change my life. And these people, out of pain, they force themselves through a better life and to a better life. They make new plan, commitments, they take radical action, they cut out friendships, relationships, they develop a strong sense of commitment and direction. They say no more, and they change their life. But it's changed with this energy of, I gotta get to this point, I gotta push through. And nothing wrong with that. it's an option, and one that works for a lot of people. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling, what happened to me. It doesn't matter if I have trauma, if I feel pain, if my heart aches. What matters is, where do I want to go? How do I choose to feel, right? So in a way, we're overriding the heart with the power of the mind and movement and direction. And this is a good option, of course. And we have the second option, which is also good, which is the feminine way, the feminine energetic way. By the way, I'm not saying that women choose this or men choose this. We all choose different things at different times. But the energies that these healing modalities carry within coaching are different. The healing part, will be more around the therapeutic, maybe some part of self-development is around here. While the masculine can be, the yogic or embodiment, which is, we are present, and we can choose to be confident if we breathe into our body and walk in a certain way and carry ourselves in a certain manner, and train our bodies and our nervous systems to embrace and welcome and pull forth a new way of being, and that's valid. And the feminine way is more about sitting with the emotion. What happened? What's present? When did you start feeling like this? What hurts so much deep within? It's the loving ear. It's the part that allows us to remember things that perhaps we didn't before. Childhood challenges, trauma, abuse for some people, maybe adult challenges, difficulties in relationship, in life, in family. This modality teaches us or shows us that the way to feel free from these pains and these triggers, that somebody says something and we react. We're meeting a new person, that part of us that is controlling or insecure or jealous or that feels threatened very easily comes up. And we think, okay, I'm thinking positively, but I feel so much anger, I feel so much anxiety, and I'm trying to blast my anxiety through think positively, or focus on the plan, or push through, or don't care about your emotions. But the body has a mind of its own, and a powerful one, and sometimes the pushing through is not enough, and we realize we have to listen to what's happening in here. We have to get in touch with our hearts, and we start going down the rabbit hole in a way. We realize that there's a lot of trauma, personal, ancestral things that we inherited from our families, and there's a lot of things we accumulate from childhood, a lot of pain that we haven't fully processed because nobody really taught us how to do that, right? How do you sit with your emotions? Right now a lot of people are having a very difficult time sitting with themselves because we live in a system that nurtures distraction. It nurtures like easy satisfaction, scrolling endlessly, a very scarce attention, and very little self-reflection. So when we go into this place, into this healing modality with someone who's experienced and who can guide us, we start feeling a lot of things. It's like you have been accumulating garbage on your home for years, but the lights were off, so you didn't see anything. But there was a smell at one point, and it stinks, and you wake up and you realize there's something here. I gotta figure it out. And you go to work with someone, and they turn the lights on, and you look around, and you're like, whoa! Like, no wonder why it stinks, right? There's so much garbage here, and there's a lot of pain because now you gotta clean up. You can't go back, right? You have to face what's there and release it. And this is beautiful and healthy too. There's people that go through a lot in life, and they feel this weight from within, this internal pressure that they can't quite put a name on it, and they feel anxious, depressed because of it. And it's only when they go into their heart and make peace and shake hands and love that part of themselves that was left alone, abandoned, somewhat broken in the past. Only when they make peace with this, they have a release, and then their energy shifts. They change, they feel better, they feel more aligned, they feel they're able to love again, they feel clarity again, they feel fine just within their own bodies. Now, what's the difficulty of all this? First, that these two ways of healing, and the people who claim to be experienced guides within each of them tend to judge the other one. You will see the hustle guys or girls that they think, it's all about your plan, focused action, do, like make an affirmation and you will be that every day, and write and make the I forgot how you call them, vision board, put pictures of what you want and just think about that, and it doesn't matter how much your mom or daddy beat you up as a child, just think about this. And and a lot of people make it, but they make it there, they change their life, but their heart is lagging, they're just left behind. And these people sometimes end up as very wealthy, financially successful, with a very healthy body or a very fit body, or whatever it is that they envisioned. But it is once they have achieved change of their reality, of their external reality, that they realize their heart still aches for more. There's a depth that they don't quite have, a love for life, a love for just being, and these are the hustle guys or girls, which is just do. They're focused on direction, action, but they're disconnected from the feminine energy, which is the heart. Then on the other hand, we have the heart-focused or heart-centered guides, and this will be dealing towards the therapeutic side of it, even some hippie-ish side, I like to call it. And it's people who they're just, I'm just flowing with life and love and light, brother, and they sit chanting mantras, meditating every day, and their life becomes an endless pursuit towards more trauma to find out, to release, and it's like cleaning your home. You can clean it, but you will always find a little bit more dust, a little bit of dirt somewhere. There's a rug that needs vacuuming, there's something that needs cleaning. And sometimes people get caught up into the therapeutic way, and they think, I'm like this because my mom did this, and my dad did this, and my grandma, and my uncle, and my friends, and the school teachers, and my first boss, and my first boyfriend, and these people learn how to sing a regurgitated story of why they are the way they are. Sometimes they even assign the responsibility outside of themselves. Of course I am this way, of course I'm an asshole, of course I am bitter, of course I am poor, of course I am fat or unhealthy in my body because mom, dad, society, fill in the blank. Somebody else did this to me, and I know because I went to therapy and I explored that. If the therapy worked, they probably made peace with this, and they reclaimed personal responsibility, and they freed whatever happened from controlling them, and they no longer carry the triggers. However, now they feel really good in their own bodies, they feel at peace, calm, and within this place, maybe they sit trying on expecting to manifest a new life, a new reality, and very often things don't change. I see many people in the so-called spiritual community who can't manifest a stable paycheck month to month. I see so many people caught up in doing the work, quote unquote, or in exploring their traumas, their shortcomings, healing their past, and so focused on all of these things, sometimes so focused on different dimensions, spiritual planes, etc., while they have not mastered the physical world. I think it's a little bit naive, irresponsible, and ridiculous to be honest, to try to master something beyond the physical world when we don't even have a grasp of the physical world. It is fundamental that we realize that both the people who are hustling, disconnected from their heart, maybe they lead and force and push themselves to a better external life, to better circumstances, but they carry a lot of pain within. Of course, a lot of that pain is left through the process. A lot of that pain is just abandoned, forgotten, or sometimes metabolized into energy. Sometimes it is the anger that fuels them to be better, to build a better life, to have better relationships. And that's fine, but at one point you gotta sit with the heart. In the same way, the people that have spent so long sitting with their heart and crying to their therapists, to their coaches, to their plant medicines, why not? They feel and they think, I have this challenge with abundance, I cannot manifest money or cannot manifest a relationship, or it's like, of course you're spending all your free time working on the past, and while that is beautiful and that has freed your heart, you need action as well. You need a plan, you need to put yourself out there, you need to enjoy the process, you need to do the things that will allow you to have the life that you are in alignment to. And the idea here is that creation in this world requires masculine and feminine energy. Only when we have those two, we can have true creation. It is the same with transformation. If we want to create a version of ourselves that is radically new and radically different, we will need both. We will need both the ability to sit with our hearts and process the things and the vibration and the emotions that are holding us back, or that keep us feeling like we're carrying a big weight on our backs. But we have also to learn the power of commitment, of decision, of acting, of planning, of having a direction, a vision, the power of shaking hands with your past, drawing a line on the sand and going to the other side, realizing that, okay, thank you life for your lessons and I'm moving forward. We need both. We need the mother and the father so we can create something completely new. So my invitation is that next time you are confused about, should I be doing more mantras or should I be hustling and taking unlimited massive action, I don't know how they call it, take a deep breath and see if you're a bit off center. Have you gone a little too much towards the hustle, grind, force things side of the scale? Or are you perhaps indulging too much in just feeling good, or maybe just feeling all the emotions and my past and the energy, and I think it is necessary to see where we're off balance, off center, because the universe has day and night, has positive and negative, and the most functional way of operating, and certainly the most enjoyable and useful, is when we are balanced, when we are in the center, when we have integrity. And integrity means that we have integrated, we are whole, we are complete. We cannot be complete if we don't acknowledge both the masculine within us and the feminine. Our healing process will not be complete if we are only focused on one side of the equation. So my invitation to you today is that you pay attention and reflect on the last courses you have taken, the last books, or maybe the daily practices that you have, and realize, where are they? Are they more towards the planning, business plan, action, call 100 clients per day, visualize, etc. kind of side? Or are you all about understanding your trauma and your triggers and your past and feeling all your emotions and crying and releasing? And I invite you to, especially if you have a judgment about the other way of healing, I invite you to realize that the tension that you feel and maybe the rejection that you feel towards that carries within it the potential for a deeper healing. It is in that which we reject fiercely that our strongest medicine lies, because it's the part that we're not willing or not wanting to look at. And I say this after spending the last 7 years, more or less, working with hundreds of people who have been on both sides. I cannot tell you how many men and women I have met who have quote unquote very successful lives and feel empty within. They're like, but why, if I focus and I have achieved all my dreams and my missions and my vision? And I ask, well, like, what about your heart? Do you listen to it? No, I still feel some pain from what happened years ago. There you go. And also something very common, I cannot share how many people I have met that are on the spiritual path and they struggle financially, they struggle in their relationships, women that cannot start and finish a project, men that cannot seem to have a healthy, ongoing, long-term relationship when they want one, or they can't seem to get their life, their finances in order, even though they're so spiritual and they have read all these books and they do all these meditations and they think like, what am I missing? Is it a vibration? Is there something within me that I haven't released yet? And I tell them, you know what, you've been doing this for a long time, so most likely it's not about releasing, but now about taking action, about moving, getting out of your house. And my final invitation is, if you are thinking and wondering about, okay, like, I understand this, and also most people that I see out there are only teaching or helping people in like one of these spaces, be careful with the mentors that you choose, because they will reflect and they will in a way transmit their emotion, their vibration, their circumstances to you. So if you're following someone that is maybe perhaps very spiritual and their finances are a mess, or you're never very clear about what's happening, if they're surviving, or you see them complain a lot about that, it's a red flag. Same way if you see someone maybe, with fancy cars and houses and hustle and millions of followers and building empires, but their face looks tense and you feel like anxious when you listen to them, and they speak so fast and you feel like, I can't feel them. Great advice, great business guidance for sure, but I can't feel their heart. Then also, if what you want is the path of balance, then it's perhaps not the choice for you. This is what I wanted to share. And finally, I have an invitation for those who are ready and those who seek an integration of the masculine and the feminine. I host every year a workshop in Colombia. It's called the Rebirth Workshop, and it's called Rebirth because that is how most of us and the participants feel after we come out of it. And here we integrate both modalities of coaching. We do both the sitting with the top emotions, the releases, but we also get very practical integration, planning, direction, focus. So we use the masculine and the feminine energy to breed what I've noticed to be some of the most impactful and long-lasting transformation. It's a workshop in Colombia, a retreat that at the end includes an invitation to those who are curious, exciting, and ready to join an ayahuasca retreat. This ayahuasca part is led by a native shaman, an indigenous man who I really trust and whose work has deeply changed me, my family, people that I love. So together it's a very powerful journey. It's an adventure. It's not for the faint of heart. It takes guts, because both the workshop and the ayahuasca retreat are a strong push in all directions, but a necessary one for a lot of us. So if you're curious, comment below on this video, and I will send you a message and we can talk about that. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope that if you're too much on one side or the other, you find your way to the middle where the flow happens. I love you. Ciao.